Okay guys, back with another educational style video today. Been getting some good feedback on these, so I'm gonna try and make it a fairly even split between vlog, training style content and actually kind of educational based like this video. So a lot of you are coming over from Instagram. If you kind of found me on YouTube, then go and follow me on Instagram there. We put out a lot more educational content on there, obviously short form, client transformations, things like that. So go and check that out if you haven't already. But in this video, I'm going to be discussing my own hybrid training split and kind of using that as an example as to how you can set up your own. This is obviously what I do for a job, like set people's training splits up. Worked with hundreds of people at this point, almost all of them hybrid athletes. So this is kind of what goes through my head when I not only set up my own training split, but when I set up, busy corporate workers and their training splits too. So again, if you're fairly new to the channel, I think it's always important to kind of provide a little bit of social proof, just to prove that I can kind of back up what I'm saying here. So I'm an online coach. I've got my own coaching brand called Athletic Aesthetic. We train hybrid athletes, so we essentially teach people how to improve their physique, build muscle, gain strength, whilst also improving their performance in the gym and with endurance as well. Most of the clients that we work with are focused on strength and bodybuilding and then running, but we do have a few triathletes as well. Myself, I've been training for 13 years in the gym, so primarily functional bodybuilding and strength training, hitting all the main compound movements and developing my own physique. And then more recently got into running 4 years ago, just before lockdown, and ever since then I've been hooked on the running, but I've never wanted to kind of lose my physique and lose my emphasis on that, so I've been combining the two, and I wouldn't say it's been difficult, but I've had to change a few things, and that's obviously the content that I've posted on my Instagram, and that's how we've, I guess, attracted the clients that we do now, and we're pretty much a fully exclusive hybrid training online coaching company now. But why do you need a training split first? It might seem fairly obvious to some people. I think it's always important to kind of reiterate these things. And essentially it's to maximize results and give you a return on your time investment, because most of the people that we train and speak to, they're busy people. They can't be spending, 2 hours in the gym every single day. A lot of them might only be in the gym 3 to 4 times a week. They might only spend 45 minutes to 60 minutes per session. So it's essential, if you're investing that time that you could be doing other things, that you're actually getting bang for your buck, and obviously that you're seeing a return on your investment in terms of your physique and performance. It's to give you a structure as well. I often find that a lot of people don't get the results they want and they get quite overwhelmed because they literally just don't really know what they're doing and they don't have a structure to stick to. I myself work with coaches for my own nutrition and training. Obviously I know what to do, but I think when someone just lays out a structure for you, it just eliminates kind of mental fatigue and the decision-making process, and makes it a lot easy to stay adherent to a program, and ultimately it's adherence that leads to results. So structure is absolutely key in everything that you do with your training and nutrition. Another big issue that people talk about when they kind of discuss challenges of getting results is missing sessions, and this will often come up on calls. They say they're consistent, they train 4 to 5 times a week, but when you get a little bit deeper, you find out that a lot of people are actually maybe missing 1 session per week, and that really does add up over time. So giving you a structure and a routine to stick to, it eliminates or significantly reduces the chance of you missing sessions, and obviously the likelihood of you achieving results is going to be massively increased from that. Your split will be determined by your goals, and I have made another full video on this, but something a phrase that I've coined myself is the hybrid training spectrum. I have made a video about this. It was about 3 weeks ago, so go and check it out. It was called How to Get Started with Hybrid Training, but essentially you need to prioritize what, I guess, you're slightly more focused on at this point in time, whether that's physique, performance, or a fairly even split. Now, naturally with hybrid training, you are combining strength work and endurance, so you're never going to be fully focused on one. For example, if you were fully physique focused, you would be doing exclusively bodybuilding training. And if you were fully focused on performance and endurance, you would just be doing, a lot of running and cycling. With hybrid training, we bring it together, but you will have more kind of focuses. Like we have some clients that are more focused on building muscle, and naturally their training splits reflect that, in the sense that they might do 4 to 5 bodybuilding sessions a week and maybe just 1 run. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have people who are prepping for races, marathons, half marathons, and they're obviously predominantly endurance focused, and they may just have 2 strength training or bodybuilding sessions in there for injury prevention purposes and to just maintain their physique. But as I explained in that video, you will go through naturally go through phases of the year where you focus on one goal versus the other. So for me at the moment, prepping for a half marathon in 5 weeks time, I've just done another half marathon, but I am still heavily focused on my physique. So I would say my priorities are fairly evenly split at the moment, and that my training split, as you'll see in a second, fully reflects that. You have to take other things into account too when you're putting a training split together. We don't prep, professional athletes. That's not what we do. We generally work with corporate people, busy people in good jobs, earning good money between probably, the ages of 22 and 40. So that's something that I always think about when I put a program together for someone, is what is their work schedule like? And we'll always ask that in a consultation call before someone comes on board, because there's a very big difference in someone's work routine if they're self-employed versus working, a standard 9 to 5. So we've got to understand, and you've got to take into account your work schedule when you're thinking of how much to train. Your social life as well, like do you tend to socialise midweek after work, or do you do most of that on the weekend? Like for me personally, I just work through the week, and I'll always make sure that I socialise on a Saturday. And most of my training therefore is done between Monday and Friday, and then run on Sunday. I don't really do much on a Saturday, as you'll see in a second. Some of the clients that we work with have kids, so obviously that's something that you need to take into account as well. Because with the hybrid training, like it goes without saying, generally the volume of training and the amount of training sessions you'll be doing, the amount of time that you spend on it each week will be higher than someone who's just wanting to lose weight or build muscle. They might just be doing 3 gym sessions a week, but you're going to find it hard to progress with hybrid training, strength and endurance if you're just training 3 times a week. You're not really going to be able to get anywhere. Take that with a pinch of salt, obviously. Other hobbies and interests, we have some clients that they play football, they play five-a-side, they do other things, paddle tennis and stuff in Dubai. So again, it all comes back to time really. How much time have you got available to dedicate to this training? And also, how much time do you actually want to commit to this? Because you might have a physique and performance goal, but you still might not want to train every day, and that is totally fine. That we do not, as I say, we don't train professional athletes. A lot of our clients might just do 4 sessions a week, which I think is doable for most people. This might seem like overkill, but it's honestly what it takes to maximize results. Like most people, they do want to improve their physique or performance, and you do really have to think about these things when you're putting a training split together. Otherwise, you will find yourself missing training sessions and not getting to where you want to be. So these are all the things that go through my head when someone comes on board with us. So again, I said I was going to use my own training split as an example here. So these are my personal kind of main considerations, or they were my considerations when I put mine together. But obviously I've been following something similar to this for the last 4 years, but it does adapt and change depending on what I've got going on, if I'm traveling, if I'm going on holiday and things like that. So goals, physique goals and performance goals, and races coming up. So as I explained, I'm fairly evenly split at the moment. I've got a race coming up in 5 weeks. So naturally my training volume is quite high, and then it will drop a little bit as we get closer to the race. But generally year round I do have a high volume of training. Obviously my own work and job is heavily correlated to the training that I'm doing. So naturally I almost see my own training as work anyway. So I'm quite happy to put the time in there and do, two sessions a day, sometimes run in the morning, lift in the evening. Recovery, that's probably the main one for me. I found that kind of having one rest day per week, or one day where I just do a light session, has been more effective for me than doing something intense every single day. But I'm constantly kind of tweaking and adapting that. But I do really try and stay on top of that, and put sauna sessions and stuff in there as well. And obviously I'm heavily focused on the nutrition side of things, which will help recovery too. But that's for another video. Time, as I say, I'm quite happy to invest the time. It's what I love to do as well. So that's not really an issue for me. But I'm not gonna lie, I do think I would struggle to kind of hit the business KPIs that I have at the moment if I was prepping for something like a full Ironman. I don't have unlimited time to train, so I do take that into account. And then social as well, as I've said, always try and do something every Saturday with friends. So those are things that I take into account. And this is my training split. This is what I've kind of come up with, and it's what I've been doing for the whole of the year. So I did cover this in my most recent vlog, but we'll go over it again. So obviously splitting strength and running up. I would never do them back to back. It's just not optimal for performance or recovery really. But Monday morning, upper body strength, Monday morning running, 10 to 12k easy. Afternoon upper body strength session. Tuesday legs, that's the only thing I do on Tuesday because obviously it's quite a taxing session, and obviously focusing on getting my steps in too. Wednesday, just a run there, just an interval run, because again, that is quite taxing. I used to do an upper body session on this day as well, but I always found I was absolutely fucked by the end of Wednesday. Thursday, upper body, and then I have kind of thought about maybe putting another easy run in, but I'll only do that if my recovery is good. So again, going back to what I mentioned before. Friday, interval run in the morning. That is specific to a half marathon prep. When I'm off that prep, that'll be an easy run, but I need to be focusing more on speed work at the moment. And then Friday evening, leg training session, deadlift focus there, posterior chain. Saturday is, I pretty much consider it off. It's a very light bodyweight training session with some mobility work. It's not taxing whatsoever. And that's almost kind of just getting me ready for my Sunday long run, which at the moment is between 14 and 18k. So those are the distances that we generally hit on a half marathon prep. And then in a taper week, it might drop down to like 10 or 12. But when I do a marathon in a couple of months' time, this longer run will build. So that's my training split at the moment. As I say, this is what I've kind of played around with. I used to do 3 strength sessions back to back, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I did find that by the end of that Wednesday, I was just knackered. So I've chosen to kind of split it up like this at the moment. And I think it's really good because it kind of gives me that Saturday off so I can go and socialise and things like that. But yeah, hope that's kind of useful. And you can see that I've taken a lot that I mentioned here and kind of used that when I put my own together. If you haven't checked us out on Instagram already, go and have a look. And if you are interested in coming on board with coaching, you can book in a call or inquire for the coaching in my bio on Instagram and also in the bio of this video. Those calls are just kind of an initial conversation just to discuss your goals and see if we can actually help you. But yeah, hope that was useful.